Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back to another live trading session. For NY session here. I'm looking forward to trade the market again with all of you after the previous sessions. We had the first trade that didn't work out, but we are looking for more trading opportunity this session here again. And I'm waiting for all the members to show up. You can write something on the live chat if you're here, and also make sure you like this stream so that we can begin today's analysis. So 20th of May 2026 Wednesday, I'm looking for some productive entry here in this market. Ready? All right, so first of all, traders, this is exclusive live session from Forex Trading Wizard Academy that I'm doing every single day in London session as well as in NY session. Now, this market on gold that I will be looking at from three aspects. That means that we will be looking at the technical, we'll be looking at the fundamental, and we will be looking at current market sentiment here in this. So if you are excited about trading and also learning and growing as a trader, so make sure you stick till the end. And let's begin the analysis first that I will be looking at. What kind of trade we can see and what is our risk setup and also entry, exit, logic behind the trade. So I'm looking at now on this 1 hour time frame. That means that this is an intraday time frame. I see still some members are coming. So can you make sure you like this stream so that I know that all those members who are trading with me here, so that we can begin the analysis. Okay, cool. Okay, ready? All right, so cool. All right, so here is what you can see, that this market, and I'm looking at, there is a 30-minute candle close coming, and if you look at also the daily price action, so daily market is significant. Let's get this party started. Yes, we are looking at and looking forward to see some good outcome in this session here. The market might dramatically change its directional bias, but before that, this is the weekly candlestick pattern, weekly market structure as a price action trader, and also based on the smart money concept, and that's what we are looking at here in this market. So if you look at that, have the FOMC meeting, FOMC minutes come out. It's later today. Later today there will be FOMC meeting minutes, and we will be looking at those fundamental aspect of the market. and we'll go through that. First, let's look at the current the market technical analysis, so that we know that at what level we will be looking at entry and what level we will be buying or selling. Now, the reason I'm looking at this weekly price action is because the previous week there was pretty large bearish engulfer that you can see, and of this weekly bearish engulfer, the candle has created, which was a large bearish engulfer the previous week, followed by, if you look at here, you can see this week the market initially has moved up back to this area, and with this break of this weekly resistance, the market has started to break below, which is showing that now from the weekly perspective that this market trend is bearish. So multiple time frame is key. Multiple time frame means we are looking at the higher time frame, we're looking at the lower time frame, and then looking at the lower time frame for an entry opportunity here in this market. Now looking at daily, this is the zone that I'm paying attention here now, because the daily price action is crucial in terms of the overall market movement. The previous day we saw pretty large bearish engulfer that has formed, and with this large bearish engulfer that has formed the previous daily, today the price has reached that high, and then we can see the market now it's still trying to push that daily high. Because it is still trying to push that daily high, we most likely could see this market to revert again back below. And now the 4-hour price action, this is what I'm looking at here. The price is approaching this zone here. Now I would like to place the Fibonacci, right? So if you look at the Fibonacci here, starting of this, what did I put here? You can see there is a doji. I would consider this one is a starting of a move. This is the end of this move, and the market is going nearly crossing the 50%, and there is also 61.8%. So usually in this kind of move, the market goes to retest the golden issue, the 61.8%, which is also, if you look at the previous support area, which is turning resistance here. And therefore, with this movement here, that you can see that on XAUUSD, for the market to eventually cross further back here, this is an area of imbalance, and also the pullback. So the move, pullback, simple way we can expect another move here. So therefore, this is still showing that there is a possibility 450809 crossing above can create the selling pressure. So if I found a zone here that I'm looking at here in this session, potentially to look for entry, that you can see here, and that's a very important area of value that I'm looking at from the 1 hour. This is the 1 hour, and you can see there is no red candle. Usually this kind of price action is something that we can look at, because if you look at that, starting from here, there is no red candle formation along the way. So what does it mean is that this market has a potential for a break below, but there is a swing high. So you can see that there was in the past, the market has created this structure, and of this structure that you can see, once the market managed to break that high in this area, that looking for the price action to trend and continue to trend back below here to this support area here, and that's what I'm looking at. The lower time frame, now going back to our regular entry time frame, looking at the 1 minute here, and this is a price action that I'm looking at here for this market. This is the resistance here with this series of lower high that you can see. With a series of lower high here, the market has entirely broken back below, and with this break of this series of lower high, we are looking at here for this price action to retest this high and then to return that down back below to the support area to create a new lower low. And so breaking above is what we will be able to look for a sell entry here in this area. All right, so this is the zone that I'm looking at for the market to go ahead and then to go ahead, break that high and then to return back down. So it's breaking out here, and that breakout can create an overbought market. And I think there is no schedule news here that we will be looking at. If you look at the calendar here, there is no specific news, but FOMC meeting minutes later today will come during the NY session. But before that, we are looking at here for the market structure to go ahead, create a new higher high, and then to revert back below in that area for this price action to drop back below. So here is what I'm looking at of this level that the market is structured to go ahead and breaking that resistance line and then to return again with a series of lower high. So 4510 area for sell, nearly there. Yeah, will be once the market goes crossing 4509, 450809, in that zone that I will be looking for potential entry, because there is, after creating an higher high, after creating overextension here, that we can look for a rejection of this higher price, which will be here 4518 is 61.8% Fibonacci. So going to that zone here, if you look at in that zone here, can create a selling pressure of this level. This is the daily price action where the market can get back below here to this support area, and therefore we need to see that this high is broken, and that's what it will create. Though there is a, if you look at when the market is going up, showing that comparatively in this area here, the lower time frame candlestick pattern shows that there is a stronger buying pressure that can cross this high here, that can go back in this area, and with this movement breaking this 4509 can create selling pressure. Let's look at what is happening with the current sentiment and with the geopolitics, so that you know that how the market might react to those news. Because before we enter, you have to look at also what is happening around the globe. So I'm looking at oil. So oil price, we can see there is a pullback on oil price. If you look at the weekly here, this is the weekly market on oil. So we saw that as we expected initially, the market has moved here from the weekly. If you look at the monthly here as well, and so looking at also the daily, that from this resistance line that you can see here, the daily pricing on oil, with this pin bar, the market has made its move back to the upside, created a higher high, overextended here, and then now it's on a pullback. But overall direction on oil, but I think it's still the trend perspective is bullish from the technical, but oil is more of news sensitive, right? So what is happening in terms of the war and other factors will definitely have a confluence in the market. So what it says here, I think there is 2 hours ago there is a news has come out that might be also related to oil. Anything that war and other factors is directly linked with oil. So we are looking at here, Iran threatens to extend conflict beyond the region if US and Israel resume attacks. So that there is no attack here at the moment, I think, but there is news saying that Iran threatens to extend conflict beyond region if the US and Israel resume attacks. So I don't know how to interpret it, but how the market will interpret that, what do you think? So that, I think that might, like, it might create more confusion for possibility for increasing the conflict, in my opinion. But what we see that here, if you look at that, will it continue to go down till 4354? Let's see that where it 4354, you mean the gold? And yeah, we'll be looking at here on gold. And on oil, what I think that it's on a pullback. Okay, so if you look at that, it's on a pullback. Okay, so with this pullback here, that this is the support area. Okay, so if you look at it, this is the support area here, and that support is if you look at that where the market is, that's the gap open. And what I think that the market may here drop further back below and could bounce back. And I think that from the what you can see, some of the negotiation and news that you can see war, if you can see Iran threatens to extend the conflict beyond, and that means, what do you know that from the news and other sources, that actually the reliable sources, because some of the areas that we have seen. So if the deal is not reached, I think there are some nuclear factors that involve, and then there is a potential for resuming the attack. If the attack is resumed, then Iran threatens to extend beyond, and so that means what is beyond? Some other countries that we could see that could be affected. So which is, here we are looking at potential, the market sentiment. How does the market is going to react to those information that you can see? I would say that, which is gold during this war was bearish, oil was bullish. This is what we saw that in the beginning of the war. So if you look at that current context in here, now oil is here, what I would say that the trend is still bullish. So when you see the trend is bullish, that means it's still maintaining that uptrending market. Now, why do that trend is bullish? Okay, so if you look at that overall picture in the market, why do trend is bullish? There is only one simple reason the trend is bullish, is because the buyers is buying, or there is a higher, if you look at that, there is a supply and demand, right? This is all about the supply and demand in the market. So either lack of supply, or if you look at that lack of supply or higher demand. So if you look at that here, what kind of reaction you could see in terms of the oil, that you could see that, I would say that both, right? Especially the lack of supply. I think Strait of Hormuz is closed and some other factors that contributing on oil, and therefore I think this is a crucial factor to look at, that Iran threatens to extend conflict beyond the region. That could increase, I think, the oil price beyond the resistance. That's what I would say, because that's why the oil price is really peaking back to the upside. And this pullback, what we can see, what I think that from the technical, it might be coming back here to this neckline, and technically if I trade only based on technical, then probably this resistance and support can bounce back up here in that area. So this is what we can see on this on WTI. And then if we go back to the gold, that we can see, and we can see the market is having here that this is where there is a previous resistance, pullback, another move. Now if the market is going here back to that level of resistance, what you can see, which is the previous series of lower high, this is where the market on gold is showing up the market to eventually break below here in that area. So will it continue to go down till 4354? 4354. Okay, so if the market here breaks below that, you can see, yeah, it might can go a lot, because from the weekly what we can see, the market is in a downtrend, that you can see. All right, what's your bias on all of that? So the sentiment that we can see, go oil on bullish, oil on pullback in a bull market. And if you look at that overall, so some of other confluence, I think that consumer price inflation on UK. So this is what we looked at in our previous session. Gold and some other factors, I think the energy shock. So I think this one economically important. Let's say the energy shock isn't likely to trigger a US recession in 2026. Growth in Q1 came at a solid 2%. Unemployment rate is sitting comfortably 4.3%, near all-time low. So this up to here, that we can understand that there isn't possibility for any kind of recession, and the growth is solid 2%, and unemployment rate is sitting comfortably at 4.3%. So the US dollar is important in terms as a trader, as you know that. So when it is firm on the US dollar, it's not gonna much effect, because usually global recession, if you look at 2028, it's because the world is highly dependent on dollar, right? It's in fact because everything is traded on dollar, and we trade on dollar. If you look at the gold, is a spot based on traded against dollar, oil traded against dollar, everything that we are trading, mostly all those currency instrument we are trading is based on dollar. And gold also depend on dollar, gold, they are interrelated. So if dollar index is remaining firm and performing well, then the rest of the things will ultimately remain steady. So from that perspective, that I would say that economically it looks, so far the indication is sound. So therefore the only thing that this current, I would say that geopolitical situation is what where it is going, something that as a short-term trader that we need to look at in terms of, if you look at that, the breaking news, right? Where you need to look at paying attention to the right news factor so that we have that the information in hand so that we can enter morning in the right time and right direction. So however, now at the moment we had our previous trade, here is stop loss during the London session, but that's fine, it's a part of game. We had an incredible win rate, you guys have seen that. Now I would like to look at here with this session to see that where the market is potentially be heading. So if you look at that overall picture on gold, that you can see series of lower high here. Now the current level, the 4510, is what we are looking at here in this area for a possible entry in this market. Now let it go up, break above, grab the liquidity, and then we'll be looking at for the price action to come back below here. So let's look at here to see where the market is heading. And you can see that in this area the market trend shows that it is in a locally uptrend that you can see. Now with this uptrend here, as the market trend is creating the momentum, we will be looking at for the price action to show its pattern in that area. We're looking at here, so to see that. Okay, so here is what we are looking at for this price action. This is where the market to retest and then to revert again back here in this area to show a possible entry opportunity. It is still showing an uptrend here, so therefore I'm looking at for possible sell entry. We'll see that where it is heading. Still not entering, but once we can see that the market is showing a price action pattern, we are looking at that confirmation in this market. All right, so here we're looking to see so we can see some breakup structure of this level here, and with this breakup structure that you can see the market has shown that pattern here that is showing that the market structure to give its momentum back below, right, which is what we are looking at here in this area. And we can see there is a head and shoulder is being formed here in that area. Now with this head and shoulder, which is there is a liquidity sweep has broken back below, and with this head and shoulder here, what we can see that with this head and shoulder, this is where there is with a consolidation we are looking at here of this consolidation that the market potentially to react back above of this level. This is the 1 hour candle close coming, and are you going to see another bounce? I think so, or we could see a reaction of this and coming back below. Now I would be really interested for this market to sell off this level now if just the market has came out of 4509 level, which is very important to look at. Thank you. So with the recent level that you can see of this area, the market shows pretty interesting growth here. Okay, so you can see the market is in this area, right? We can see that here the price action has shown to that level that you can see, and the market is approaching that key area of value. Now with this, which is very important to look at, there is a breakup structure that you can see of this, and with this breakup structure, now this is the 1 hour market structure. After this pretty stronger bullish move here, the market has reached this key level, and here I am looking at in this area for an entry once the market reach that key level. So the thing is that you want to see a clean rejection of this price action of this price level here in this area, and with this clean rejection, what we are looking at here for the price action to grab the liquidity and then to return again back below here from this. Now this is the 1 hour price action. After this candlestick pattern close, this is the first, after this big green move, one red candle being formed. Now this one could act as a starting of a downtrend, but I would say that there is a still possibility for another move back to the upside. Why? Because it's still maintaining that series of higher low. So I'm waiting for one more back to the upside, one more bounce, and then we can look for that sell entry here in that market. All right, so it's important to look at. Now looking at the, if you look at the fundamental, that you see that this is where the fundamental here, and where the fundamental, if you look at the FOMC meeting minutes coming up later today, which will have some influence, and tomorrow coming up AUD employment change and also the unemployment rate, which is what you can see that in this area. So FOMC meeting minutes, and with this FOMC meeting minutes, the market, what I would say that today will be the highest volatility we could see in the market in this week. So I'm preparing for some entries back here in that area, right, which is a part of the fundamental analysis. Do you do the fundamental analysis? Okay, if you do the fundamental analysis, it is important that you understand how the fundamental works, right? So very important to look at in terms, if you are a trader or investor, or looking at the market, you need to look at how the fundamental works over the long term period here. So which is very important to look at. Now with this move that you can see the price action here of this level breaking that low. All right, so you can see that from here the market is breaking that low here, and what I would say that after this candle close, the market might try to push again back above, and that pushback is where, if it fails to do so, what I think we'll see that the downtrend continuation here. But still it's showing that there is an uptrend here in that area. If you look at that on gold and DXY, this is the DXY move that you can see off this level. The market on DXY is also, we saw that there was a pullback, and the market is slowly pushing that back to the upside here in this area on DXY. And with this movement that you can see from this level here, the price has dropped back below. It's now trying to push again back to the upside here. Candle close on the lower time frame, and okay, so it's trying to push here back above as we discuss off this level. Now this 1 hour break to the upside is significant, because we want to see that the market is going here back above for another move, and then to return again off that level, and that's what you will be able to see this market trend to continue to drop back below here in that area. Looking forward to see that the market to break off this resistance line. 4520. Look, there is still possibility for, because the market still didn't break this trend line. You can see that here. Series of lower high, series of lower, still series of lower high. Once it managed to break this series of lower high, that's where we'll be able to look for new entry. Once we can see the market is rejecting off this series of lower high, which is very important to look at in terms of this trading here. Okay, so it's moving back up. Now I'm not going for a long yet because it is still the long-term trend is down. However, if we see the market has crossed this high, then we will be able to see a potential zone where the fair value gap, right? And fair value gap is important to look at. Once the market cross this fair value gap, we'll be able to look for the sell entry of this level from that zone. If you're not sure fair value gap, you can ask and we can discuss more on that, how to identify the fair value gap. Here's what you're looking to see, the market to cross this high and then to eventually break above here in that area to create a new higher high. And this is a resistance line that you can see off this level. Once the market managed to go back to that resistance line, we can look at here sell entry from that level. But you want to see that the market has managed to break above, has given enough momentum here in that area for us to be able to look for that sell, right? And this is what we're looking at to see potential price action. Maybe the sell after Tokyo chart 4520. Let's see that where it's going. 4520, 4520. I think, yeah, there is possibility, still possibility for going there for the market. Okay, so you see that it's maintaining that smooth support area. Okay, and it can still come down here and then go back there. So sometime I got a very interesting question, which is very, very sensible, right? If that happens, then why I'm not buying? Good question, right? The reason I'm not buying if that happens is because I want to trade in the major direction of the trend. I want to trade the flow of the market. That's what you want to do, right? We still we can open a buy here. Okay, if we see promising price action, why not taking that opportunity? I'm open in all direction, but we want to see high possibility setup. That's what you want to do. That if you enter, then definitely we need to look for a high possibility setup so that you can take profit. That's what you need to do, right? Take profit. Ready to take profit? Because you are fighting the trend. Yes, because you want to trade with the trend. Yep, absolutely. That's why I ask you to buy now and to sell 4520. What do you think? We can look for, but to buy, if you look at here, you see this is it's creating a bear flag. Okay, so there is a move and then a flag pattern. Now this flag pattern, you want to see that enough confluence for going up again. Yeah, increases the possibility of a successful trade. That's what the most important part, that okay, the possibility, increasing the probability. We can't do that also because of the news. If comes negative, gold can start selling fast. Well, there is no, I think there is no high impact news here at the moment, right? I don't know if there is any yellow folder or orange folder or any breaking news. Yeah, news can come anytime, so you need to be prepared for that. Okay, just in 9:30 oil inventory today. Okay, so that might be for the, yeah, so if there is any news on oil is, now we saw that there was a drop. At any point you can expect a bounce back on oil. Okay, so if you look at that, anytime bounce back on oil, and oil is the way the market, you see this is the recent level of support at 98 on WTI. So that could be that oil is, or that gold is showing its peak up with the oil. Now if oil is going up again, we could see that reaction back again on gold down below and maintaining its downtrend. So you can see that it's not showing a very stronger bullish confluence. Instead, you see whenever it's going up, getting a rejection. Okay, head and shoulder pattern created. Yeah, there is a head and shoulder, but still not breaking out of the trend. Yeah, so if you look at this structure, still had a possibility to break above, still maintaining an uptrend. Indeed, yeah, it's still, if I'm told to trade, if someone tell me that I have to open a trade, then I will still be opening a buy trade here. This is still a buy market. Okay, so if you look at the 1 hour, you can see that after this previous hours long doji, that you can see the candle open and it didn't break that low. This market has a potential for going to break 450809, higher possibility. So I will still be looking to buy. What do you think? I think we can do back to back 4 hour 20 EMA. Looks like it wants to retest it. 4 hour 20 EMA. We saw that it dropped to 4 hour 10 EMA. Okay, and it's getting, yeah, once the market will break here, chances for a breakout here. So let's look for buy entry, and I see that there is a possibility. Okay, we can see that there is a developing bullish trend continuation pattern here. All right, here, so you can see that from here showing a possible upside bias. This is the 5 minutes candle that you can see it's closing as a bullish engulfer, and which is nearly to 100 pip. The 4 hour 20 EMA is here. Yeah, there is a chance for going back to 453430 level, because it's showing still an uptrending market structure. And this 5 minutes that you can see the market successfully broken back to the upside here. So yeah, now the market is changing its direction. You see that how fast the market changes sentiment. Okay, so it's showing that it's an uptrending market structure here in that area. So therefore we are looking at here for a deeper pullback, and then to give its momentum back again for another wave of move back to the upside. So oil might be coming for this deeper pullback that potentially could push gold back to the upside here. Okay, breaking below here. Yeah, coming below, and we will be looking at potential long entry. Stop loss I'll be keeping here. I'll be opening long here, and we'll keep 100 and nearly to 120 pip to 30 pip stop loss, of course, with risk management. And I will be going long here, and we can look at here a possible bounce back to 4 hour 20 EMA, but I will be taking my TP at 4520. If the market moves successfully back above, it's a good move here that we can take for this potential upside bias here on gold, and placing a stop loss here at 4492.54. Ready? TP target above here. So I have opened buy here, and possibility to bounce here back above to that level. So there is a possibility for a move here back above, because there is a, now it's gonna potentially break this resistance here. There is a fair value gap, and I want to take this move here potentially back to the upside if it goes that move. However, prepared to take anytime any reverse that can happen. Market does this all the time. But now, if you look at here, that 5 minutes price action, this is a pretty large the candlestick pattern that being opening here in this area, and here I'm looking at for a possible reaction back to the upside here. If you look at the lower time frame trend, so the market managed to, the candle close above. Now what I would say that this is a possibility, this is a possible pullback here that you can see in this lower time frame, and that can create a potential bullish pressure back here above. And I'm looking forward to see this move here in this market to maintain its momentum here back above. So it's reached that level of area that if you look at here in this area, and market reached in an interesting area, and which is gonna potentially to so I've taken the trade at a key level that you can see it's created a new higher high, and the trend is still possibility for a continuation here in this market. Okay, so the 50 minutes nearly to close here, and I think there is the market has dropped to that support area, which is so from the 1 hour that you can see there is a rejection of this higher price. So there's a surprising move. So from the 1 hour, we are almost the first half of this 30 minutes candle, and I think there might be a false breakout. We'll see that, but which way it's heading. We are stopped out. This is let's look at the 1 hour. We can see there is a sudden breakout that you can see, and I think there is also the oil price picked up again, which could be that the market to eventually try to break this high. For our chart from the 20 MA. This might be an order block here in this area. Okay, so we took this one here, and so here is, if you look at that, that's an entire breakup structure, and with this breakup structure, the price has reached this level. Now might be able to look for selling. Let's see that what kind of market structure is forming. And I think that if you look at the 30 minutes here, which is a large bearish engulfer, could be okay. So the market has entirely broken back below, and that might be potentially creating here with a double top. It still can reverse entirely back below. So we'll have the 20 EMA, 10 EMA, 30 minutes price action back to back, 2 red candle has closed in this area, which might be breaking that low back below. Showing up, and I'm a little focused here to see that actually which way the market is going to be heading. A back to back to trade, and you could see this market again going back up. Or what's your bias here that I would like to ask you? Price rejected 4 hour 10 EMA. 4 hour 10 EMA, yes, we can see that, but I think that that rejection that you can see, there is a 4 hour candle close coming. Yeah, that might be creating a bearish move, but let's see that how far it goes for a pullback here. And I'm looking to see that this is a trend continuation or a break below. Okay, so if you see that the market has in this area, if it is a stronger drop, yeah, that might can continue to drop. So we'll see that what kind of price action it is creating in this area. So the trend is still continuing here, that you can see in that area. That trend continuation shows that the market might be coming here for another wave of drop back below. So if it is a false breakout, we could see that continuation. But I think that I will not be surprised even if we see that change of trend again. The market at any time, you could see that change its trend, and it's the part of the market movement. Okay, here's the market move, and now depending on how the market structure been created here. Okay, so there is some reaction of this level. So I'm just looking to see the final directional bias before we look for entry again in this market. And if it changes the direction of this uptrend to a downtrend, it's gonna create a pretty stronger downtrending move, and then we can take that trade. But before that, we'll see that what kind of price action is creating in this area. And so there is a break here. Okay, it's a pretty strong break below, and the market might here remain for a bit of more time for another bearish move in this area. So if you look at that price action here in this zone, that the market shows that there is a downtrending market structure here in this area. So We'll be looking to see where it is heading, and then we can look at entry based on that. It's a sharply falling market that you can see. Okay, so here is the pullback, and I will be looking for a possible sell in that area, because the market is in a, if you look at that, it's an overall downtrend that you can see, and it got rejected very surprisingly. And I'm looking at now here, if you look at the 4-hour candle close coming, which might be now, because there is a rejected of this 10 EMA, and I was looking at here for the 20 EMA, but we saw the straight rejection of this 10 EMA. But I would like to take this move here. If you look at the 4-hour, that you can see the market is carrying rejection of this 10 EMA, which is nearly to, if you look at that, 205 pip. But if the market, because there is a rejection, that we can look at now for the price action to drop back below the previous 4-hour low, which is nearly to 200 pip move, right? So I would like to take that. I would like to take this trade here, the second trade that I'm opening. But with this trade, I will be keeping little higher, wider stop loss, because for me, it's less likely for this market go back to the 4-hour high before it coming back below here. So it's gonna be little wider stop loss. So definitely risk management is key here, that I'm opening another sell. I have so that we can take this one with the bigger win rate, 4507.50 at a stop loss, and take profit target at 4461.45. So here you can see that the market to move here back at this level, that you can see I've shared that the trade also with all of you guys. Again, I'm looking at Alrighty, so you can see there is a dodgy pattern formation here. Now, if this market is rejecting again back, we might be able to see that very unusual move. If that happens, that happens. So you can see the 4-hour chart. Now the 4-hour candle closed in few minutes, and this is where there was pretty sharp rejection of this 4-hour 10 EMA, and it's a falling market that I'm looking to see another wave of drop. We have traded the probability, but then the rest we will be leaving on the market. With the risk managed setup, we had a very high win rate and we have quite a few wins. Now we also have to accept the fact that we might be able to sometime losing trade. That's why I always keep the risk checked. Here's I'm looking at here in this market. I hope that you are enjoying the live session. Make sure you like and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Ready? So if it successfully break that low here, we are looking at here in this market to potentially sell this level of this zone. And I'm looking at here for this movement. We will be looking at for this price action to break that low here after this rejection. On the trade here, looking forward to see the market to here to potentially break below the 4-hour price action that you can see. It is a rejection of this 10 EMA of this 4-hour, and with successful move back below, you could see that potential downtrending market structure here. So what kind of move that you can see here in this area? This is, you can see the market of this high here after the liquidity sweep, the market structure breaking that low here, and we could see that the price to potentially to trend back. And if this structure breaks successfully, that I'm looking for to see this market to drop down to this support area. And if it does successfully drop, we will be taking another big one that will make me a break-even day, or if we still go to the stop loss, probably will be losing this one, and that's fine. All right, it's fine. It's part of trading. You could say 10 days very well, one day may not be working very well. That's the part of trading. It's not the winning day, it's the losing day. How you handle that will determine your success in trading. So there's another, if you look at that here, this is a narrow 15 minutes doji, and we can see if the market breaks that low here, we will be looking at the price action to break that low back below here in that area. And I'm really hopeful that it's gonna come down back below. All right, so what is happening, why the market suddenly has changed its momentum, that I would like to look at also some of the breaking news. Iran's parliament speaker, obvious and hidden moves of the enemy show they are seeking a new round of war. So obvious and hidden moves of the enemy show they are seeking a new round of war. So there is okay. Now I think that's what makes this market to bounce back again. If you look at that, you see that there is a rejection here, breaking back to the upside, and so there is a war, means that there is potential for an upside on oil. Now on gold, that there is a rejection of this 10 EMA. Do you think that the market is coming down here below, and if it successfully drops down back below, it might drop a lot? What do you think? Let me know in the live chat. What's your bias? Let's see what happens. We could close this 4-hour candle and green doji potentially. Let's see, drop. Okay, so how many of you drop? Right, drop. If you see the more drop, there will be the hint. Okay, then waterfall. So let's see that down. Right, everyone drop. So that might create a potential waterfall, right? Okay, drop. How many of you drop? Okay, drop. What else? Drop. Okay. Okay, else? Anyone else drop? You can write drop if it is a drop. Drop here as well. It's cool. Okay. And DXY up. Okay. Uptrend if holds. Okay, DXY. We are seeing that. Okay, so DXY, yeah, DXY is pushing here back up. Yeah, so DXY is here pushing here back up. So with that, DXY movement, we can see that XAUUSD is having that drop here back below. Okay. Okay, it's showing that downtrending move that you can see that here. So you open the sell here and we are looking at here in this area for a possible move back below. See that where it is heading and drop. Okay, often definitely we have sold, so not wishing for a drop. So what we see that in that area, the market to this might be an entirely a reversal that you can see from the, if you look at the 4-hour candle just as closed, and which is a big rejection of this 10 EMA, right? I'm thinking of drop after 4475. Okay, yeah, we can see the market here is showing that 10 EMA, right? So we can see that here it's going that downside movement that you can see, which could be bringing that market here back below. And if this market drops, it might be coming well below here, and it might even break further low, because especially when this kind of market reverse, they have a potential waterfall that you can see in those areas. Okay, so that could be that the market is coming back below here in that support area that we will be looking at in this area, and it would look like to see that movement. And I'm looking at here for another wave of drop. We'll be looking to see that potential trend confirmation here in that area. It's a downtrending move that you can see, And with this downtrending movement that I'm looking forward to see the price action to break below here to the support area. Thank you. My guess is oil inventories are down, so oil will move up and go down. 4488.1, as long as it's holding it, might continue down. Yes, this is what you can see, that if you look at here, it's holding it and it could continue to down here drop. Yeah, that is what you can see. And with this break below here, if you closely look at it, you can see the market is maintaining its downtrending move, and with this downtrend that you want to see the price action to maintain its break below to this support area. And here is what we are looking at, that the price action to, if you look at that, that's the 1 hour price action has entirely broken back below. And what we are looking at here for the price action to eventually come down to the support level here, and with this coming down here to the support, that looking forward to see the price action to trend back here below to that level. I guess you guys are understanding that. That's what if the market successfully break that low here, we'll be looking to see coming down. And in the meantime, if you this week we have open the premium group where I'm sharing every trade and all the indicators, strategies, regular trade updates, analysis. So you can join the link I'm sharing here below this video. You can find the first link. And also I'm sharing here. You can just stay connected by joining. This is the premium, the main group, the private group where I'm, it's a premium group. Now it's for short time, it's public now. You guys can join there to see each of my trade, that how I'm opening. And also you can access all the strategy that I'm using, all the trading material that I'm sharing. And it's not gonna be available very soon. So don't miss out that this is a big step for you forward to become as a trader. And all those courses that are available, thank you, you can find at the top of the group. If you are in the group, just scroll down to the top, pin videos, where you can see every strategy that I am using, a complete breakdown. There are more update coming on that, because this is where I will be that revealing many of the secrets that I have never shared with anyone. In this more than 10 years of trading experience, there is a lot to take from here. If you are someone really want to take your trading to the next level, then don't miss those lessons. That's intended to give you the best trading advice, best trading education that can help you to become an independent, professional, profitable trader. So let's look at here. What you can see here in this area. This is the lower time frame. The market is trending here. And I'm really excited to see this trending. So yes, if you are running, how many of you are running this trade? Now, I would like to take this one. We had the previous one to work out this one. If it successfully drop, it's going to be 220 pip potential drop. Okay. All right. Coming down, back below, here. Already, so you can see that of this, it's coming down back below here, and we are looking at for this movement, and we want to see the market to trend back below here, and this 4-hour candle close with a pretty long pin bar here, and I would say that now this market possibly to break this daily low. That looking forward to see the daily. If you look at the daily candlestick pattern, has shown so far bearish bias. However, if it fails to do so, then possibility to going back up again. But I see there is a higher potential for this market to drop back to this support area. So you have traded the probability, right? Oil going down and gold going down. Okay, what's happening? Now oil not now going down. Oil has gone down. Now we see that it's pushing here back. You see that oil dropped to that level, and after dropping to this level, oil bounced back up. So what is the reason for this move? Because there is always a reason, guys. Reason is a higher level of higher potential, right? So something that sometimes I have struck better, we don't pay attention, but it's very important. When you look at the reason, that's a very important. Why reason is important? Now I'm short, thank you very much. You see that, anyway, this is our brain, right? And there are neurons, there are thinking process. So how does thinking and action that works, right? So one of the important, you see that in, if you look at current statistics, okay, what do we do in our modern world? We only think of what we see, the materialistic view. For example, if you look at the doctor or medical or anywhere you go, or they'll look at the brain, right? They can see the brain. Okay, put a cable here and then look at the wave, brain wave, right? Body, nervous system, hands, legs, eyes, that can be seen, and that's what it is. If you sick, get a medication, tablet, eat that, the chemistry will change, and that's what it is. So which is the Newtonian physics, right? The materialistic only, that one. But how does the thinking works? There's no explanation for that. How does the thinking works? Okay, can you explain that? How does the thinking work? When is the end of time? What is Fibonacci? So this cannot be explained. Can you explain where is the end of time? Where is the end of the galaxies? What is the nature of infinity? How does the thinking influence your energy? Okay. How does the feeling of your thinking influence your action? So these are not available. So therefore, let's understand here. It's very important. If you look at the reason, reason has a link to your action. you see, whenever we try to take an action, there is a faculty in our brain is telling you, should you take the action or no? Why you are taking this action? So that creates an energetic relationship with your brain and your thinking and action. Okay. So therefore, when you do act based on reason, that is why it's so important. You see that? It's vanished very early, right? You see, when you were very young, you had a small voice within, okay, telling you that you want to become something. And then parents told you to become something else, because parents also influence. So you've lost yourself and you give in to something else that is not meant for you. And everyone forget for that reason. So then the thinking has created, since the time, it's called the whirlpool of thinking, right? Because we, according to science, 90% of our thinking repetitive. So what do you think today? We think yesterday. From very early, we have installed a thinking pattern that is not meant for you, because it's not serving your individual purpose. It's serving your purpose that is for something else, which is not you, because you wanted something else, right? You wanted to become a trader, or maybe you wanted to become a gamer, or you wanted to become a pilot, or you wanted to become a doctor, but it didn't support your thinking. Okay? And so you are converted from you to something else. So now what happened, that you lost your ability, like the energy needed to take that action, because it's not your action. It's not the reason that you are acting is not for you. This is not who you are. So you lost ourselves. That's why when you grow up, that the foundation of our action and thinking is not based on for who you are. So the actions, energy behind become very, very weaker. So that's why when you act based on reason, then when you act based on reason, your energy goes very high and you can act independently for very extended period of time. That is reason. So now in trading also the same. Look for reason for each entry that you need to do that. Okay, so I will look at it. So here we're looking at WGI. WGI is coming down here, and it's now, if you look at from that, it's dropping back here in this area. Now gold is trying to push again back above after coming down, nearly came to our that profit target, but it bounced back up. Let it bounce here back up. What you can do in that area, it might get, come on, what happened today? The market really looking at very, very interesting. So it might need liquidity here, and that could be showing rejection. I'm still hopeful, but if I am out, then I am out today. I think let's say that what's kind of move that you can see here in that area, and I'm really, this is a little unusual move that you can see. WTI has broken again back below. Let's see that where it is heading, and I'm seeing here that the market to show its pattern. Okay, we see that where it's gonna be very unusual. You see that dropped a lot, but what's happening? The market is not today in its there is something going on. It happens sometime, you know, like if you look at that once in a month or so. Once in a month or so, if you look at that happens. And but if that happens, that means the market potentially preparing for a bigger move, or possibly preparing for a bigger reversal. That can happen, and this is what I'm looking at here in this area. See that it's getting a rejection here, or it's changing the direction. I'm really surprised to see if it is changing the direction here. Okay. Okay, so got another the market is really not doing very well today. That we see that there is significant move that you can see of this level has broken back to the upside here. So therefore, if you look at that price action, here is how many trade that you can see, 240. Okay, so probably we have to take it as a negative day, and we can take it back potentially in our next trade or in our next session. All right, so we can see the market here in this level that there is a rejection of this level, and what you can see, when the market doesn't work, we have to wait for the price action to show its pattern. And I believe you can see the market has gone to the stop loss and rejected back again of this level. So it happens, we had back to back, the market has interesting, this is what you can see, this is very interesting. And it is interesting, that pattern I'm looking at here, I'm waiting for a potential. So far great week. Yes, overall guys, I'm not that I'm not, we had an incredible, not only week, past week. Okay, so we had, if you look at the overall performance, that we have an incredible day. There is one day I want to see the indicator at, now if you look at, this is a pure liquidity grab. Okay, so if you look at the market, grab the liquidity that you can see, okay, so which is a pure liquidity grab. Okay, so with this liquidity grab, if you look at that, and because there is a liquidity grab, the market is potentially to break below here. Okay, so there is a stronger liquidity grab, and or you could see that complete change of trend. So now this is the time to observe a little bit to see that actually where the market is heading. That's what you can see. The only thing that we can do is observation, because observation changes the nature of everything. So we'll be looking at here later with this market structure, and I'm observing any trade coming also, I'm going to share in the group. I hope that you enjoyed. Not always the same way we'll be trading. Someday we have to trade opposite, but this third day of trading, we still have 2 more days, and don't miss out tomorrow's session. That will be again trading, and later today, if you are in the group also, you can see all those trades that I will be sharing in the group. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you again very soon. Until that, stay well, stay happy.